Since 2015, Nigeria's electoral process has undergone significant technological and administrative reforms aimed at restoring public confidence, indeed increasing public confidence in the ballot. The introduction of the smart card reader was a landmark moment, followed by further innovations such as the continuous voter registration CVR portal and the bimodal accreditation system BVAS and the INEC result viewing portal IREV, all of which played central role in the 2023 general elections. These tools were designed to improve voter authentication, reduce incidents of electoral fraud, and promote real-time transparency in result collation. While some progress has been made, the journey has not been without its setbacks. Persistent issues such as poor network coverage, delayed uploads, technical malfunctions, logistical lapses, and concerns around legal frameworks continue to undermine public confidence in the electoral process. For many Nigerians, the big question remains, how far have we come? Have these innovations made our elections more credible, or are we simply applying technology to a flawed foundation? What more needs to be done to make electoral reforms truly transformative? On this episode of Electoral Reform Half Hour, we take a closer look at the progress made so far, the gaps that remain, and ask what next for Nigeria's electoral future. I am Ezen Wawago. Welcome to Electoral Reform Hour, Half Hour on NTA News 24 Abuja. This program is brought to you by the Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, PACA, with support from MacArthur Foundation. James Ugochukwu is currently the Regional General Secretary, West Africa Civil Society Forum, WACSOF. He was one of the conveners of the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room for 2 years and was indeed the representative of the North Central Zone in the same Situation Room for 4 years. James has participated as a formidable stakeholder in general elections in Nigeria since 2010 and several off-cycle governorship elections across the country. He is an election expert and good governance advocate. Welcome to the program, James.
Good evening. Thanks for having me in the program.
Well, last week we had the privilege of having the honorable member from representing Ngobala, Abombise Federal Constituency, and it was some simulating, conversation that we had.
Okay.
So I'll just go straight to cut the chase right now. So since 2015, INEC has introduced tools, smart card reader, and BVAS and IREF portal. Are there verifiable performance metrics or data that show that these innovations have improved voter authentication and election results integrity? And the reason I'm asking you this is that you have a background in technology, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know that. So can you take a dive into this area and explain to us whether there is that clear, metrics with which we can measure what has happened?
Yeah, actually, if you look at it, after the 2011 election, when we are using the other paper voters card, the idea of PVC, permanent voters card, came into play. And that PVC, it contains a chip that has biometrics and data of the voters in it.
Yeah.
And that necessitated the use of the smart card reader. And the smart card reader, we remember that they need to slot your voter's card into it and use your thumbprint to check it. And of course, that removed, first of all, the issue of several people registering with different polling units or different wards. So that sort of reduced that electoral fraud. And over time, we started experiencing the issue of the card reader not reading fingerprint. A case in point was that of former President Goodluck Jonathan, that couldn't even vote in his polling unit because of the inability of the smart card reader to authenticate his bio. So that's when they now introduced the bimodal voter accreditation system. So the beavers that we are using today now. So beavers went a step further to capture voter authentication through facial recognition and fingerprints. So that's the bimodal nature of it, and it uses biometrics. For instance, now my retina and that of your own is not the same thing. So it makes it difficult for people to even continue to go and commit that fraud of getting multiple voters card. So by and large, if you look at it, side by side, the beavers is that of IREV, INEC Result Viewing Portal. Before it was made public, they tried it in some off-cycle election in Nasarawa state and other states like that. So they tested it. They call it Z Portal then. And the idea behind that is to view the result as is being uploaded real time. And of course, that helps Nigerians to be able to see the transparency of the electoral process, in the sense that once you can log into the portal, you'll be able to know if the vote cast in your polling unit is the same.
So I think you need to explain this, because many people, because that word you use now, login, a lot of people just think IREV is anybody's thing. Many people don't know that you have to get a link, you have to log in and see upload, not collation.
Yes, what IREV, if you look at the name very well, INEC Result Viewing Portal. So people have, some people have this misconception that it's a result computation portal. It's not. And it's not a portal that you can just access like that. You need to register with your information, your email and everything. They authenticate you and give you a password that can enable you to view it. And of course, if you look at it, it helps a lot of people to know if the result that you are viewing is what was uploaded in your was posted in your polling unit. So if you look at all these things,
so if you are not even in a polling unit, if you didn't cast your vote in a particular polling unit, it will just be for you to go and see what happened there.
Exactly. If you didn't cast your vote in a particular polling, you can actually see what happened in that polling unit. And another thing is that if you cast your vote in a particular polling unit and the result that was posted in from EC 60E, you cannot compare what you are seeing. 240, for instance, is what you are seeing in the IREV portal. So this reduces the incident of fraud, of falsifying election result and taking it to collation center. But where you have the problem is that most people, they don't look at this comparison, checking the IREV portal and comparing it with the result that was posted in the polling unit. So any political party that is what is on should be able to compare the two before they will start crying that they have been rigged out or not.
No, but they also have the results themselves. Copies of the results are given to their agents. So why is it that they also don't have their own IREV?
Well, some political parties are already adopting that, because the technology is simple. Get a result, take a picture of it and upload it to a server. Some smart political parties are actually using it as we speak now.
But they are, from which election?
Well, in 2015, I can confirm that some political party used it in a dual election.
2015.
Yes, that's 2015. Some of the governorship elections, some used it. Then the dual election, the one preceding this one that happened, some political party uses as well.
Okay, so 2022 Electoral gave legal backing, to all of this. But has there been sufficient? Do you think the legal framework has given a lot of support to some of these innovations that you are talking about?
Yes, the legal backing to the technology is that it gives a carte blanche to INEC that you can use electronic means to carry out the election management. So that gives an INEC because before then there was this debate in the National Assembly if RF should be used, if results should be transmitted electronically or not.
Uploaded.
But after so much pressure on them and all that, they okayed that it should be uploaded. Somebody like Senator Ndume was saying that there is no network in some places and all that. And that get us to know that this technology runs on a 2G network that you can actually upload it if the technology within that vicinity is 2G, or if you upload it, by the time you get to area of network, it gets up. So the legal framework has actually helped in the sense that INEC has a legal backing now to ride on the technology, and it gives them a carte blanche that they can use any technology that they want. But the challenges are also there. Challenges in the sense that, yes, to a large extent, we still suffer infrastructural challenges. There are still some hard-to-reach area that we don't have network. And of course, talking about security, security of the system, how secure is it that at the end of the day we will not be having issue that somebody has intruded into the technology that is being used. And of course, talking about stress and load testing, because if INEC tests this technology in an off-cycle election, for instance, the scenario is not going to be the same for the server if you are using it for general election, because there will be more load, there will be more stress on the server than it will be if it's an off-cycle election for governorship election, or maybe one.
How much do you think cyber attacks were threats to, even trust in the electoral process in 2023? INEC was putting out figures about how many times there were attempts to hack their systems, and that was frightening. Do you think it affected confidence and trust in the process?
Yes, anytime you are using technology, especially a public service technology like this, there are definitely going to be some kind of threat and attack on the system, because election is an interest-based exercise. There are a lot of people that want to get that vote for themselves. There are some people that just want to undermine the process so that they can have reason to blame INEC, and there are some people that just want to do it for fun. There are some hackers that just want to use that one to test their hacking skill. And of course, that is something that INEC told us, that they took their time to do some foolproof testing in terms of trying to check the cyber security threat on the system and all that. And of course, definitely during 2023 election, when we experienced that glitches, it sort of threw up that trust in the system, in the sense that we saw a situation where the polling unit official were able to upload National Assembly election result, but they couldn't upload that of the presidency. And of course, that the presidential election of 2023 was keenly contested. So different biases came up that the glitches were deliberate. Some say it was hackers, and INEC said they faced technological glitches and all that. So that refers to the stress test I was talking about earlier. Did INEC subject that RF portal for a more stress test before going public with it for a general election? Because what they did before the election was they went randomly to test it in some different polling units, which is not enough compared to when different polling units across the 774 local government are trying to upload the result at the same time. Just like if you have a high volume of vehicle passing through a one-lane road compared to when you have 5 lane. So that's what I can say happened during that.
So our voter register in 2015 was hovering around 68 million, and by 2023 we hit 93 million, prospective voters.
Yeah.
On the, so my concern would be, how much do you think that our technology, our biometric system, have kept pace with, integrity in this whole, with this expansion? What does it mean for us?
Like I said earlier, with technology now, by the time they capture your biometrics, it's difficult for you to go to another polling unit to go and register for election. That's one. Then secondly, this technology made it very easy for more people to come out and get registered for election, because capturing fingerprints and the other biometrics with BVAS is much faster than the card reader that is being used before. And again, you can see right on the back that the 2023 election, there are a lot of interest, a lot of expectation from Nigerians, and a lot of them troop out to actually vote. And of course, you know, after the registration exercise and all that, I carry out what we call the duplication of voter register. So in case there's a mistake or somehow, the technology will be able to purge out people that still found their way to duplicate their name in several polling units and all that. So at the end of the day, the integrity increases in the sense that once you get to the polling unit, if you are not registered, you cannot vote. If you are using plastic card that looks like a voter's card, you'll be rejected there, and we saw such several instances.
We go on break now, and the electoral reform half hour continues shortly. Stay with us. Glad to have you back. We're still speaking with James Ugochukwu, General Secretary, WACSOF. We left it off on the voter register conversation, and you were making a point. I don't know if you landed on that point.
Yes, so I'm just trying to land on the point that in terms of voter register, now we have more authentic voter register than what we used to have before. Of course, we know that before any election, INEC used to paste the voter register for claims and rejection. And of course, that increases people's confidence to come out and register more. And of course, the turnaround time of registering people is faster. The only challenge is that we would have had more if INEC made the voter registration to be continuous in the real sense of the word, because they only give some time for people to come and register before the election. And even at that, most people that turn up to register couldn't register because of the pressure on trying to get the machine to capture everybody. So
Anambra is coming on now. I think sometime this July, the voter registration process will begin in Anambra. And it's only going to be in Anambra because of the November election.
Yes.
But this idea of continuous, what do you think is hampering the ability of INEC to just get people who turned 18, who want to register to walk into an INEC office and
I think it's an administrative challenge in the part of INEC and willpower to do that, because we have this BVAS machine that has been procured for this particular purpose. So the question is, what are they doing with the BVAS machine after election? INEC has local government offices across the country. So what are these local government administrators, officers doing till election period? So I think INEC should take the issue of voter registration seriously, because you can't call something continuous and you come periodically to do it. So if they can
of that.
So they can't do it.
Can National Assembly or the judiciary help to protect, strengthen this, this process?
The technological process.
Yes, have they done enough in terms of, because the conversation is always about INEC, but I think like we have the forms, the public hearings going on, and in many places it's turned a jamboree because people are talking about all sorts. But do they have a role to play in ensuring that?
Definitely, the National Assembly has a big role to play, because they give legislative backing to any recommendation that is given. Remember, most of these technological reform are gleaned from recommendations that are given from the civil society or other election stakeholder. So, but without legal backing, it cannot have a wing to fly. But the challenge we have is that electoral reform process has turned to a form of ritual in the National Assembly, in the sense that they will continue to drag in the issue till some couple of months before election. They will tell you that they've passed the Electoral Act. So if passed the Electoral Act about technology, what time will the judiciary have to study the content,
the new innovation,
and even understand it? I can remember the 2023 election was some few 3 weeks or 4 weeks to the election that I even saw beavers as and how it works as an election observer and all that. So the National Assembly can help in passing Electoral Act on time. Like the one they want to use for 2027 should be passed at least latest this year, so that we'll have the whole of next year to study the content. Then the people in the judiciary will be able to use the time to study it and of course ask for explanation where necessary, so that by the time they are interpreting the law, they can do it properly instead of interpreting it just based on how they are.
So
brainwave.
you've your role in Wax Off, your long time in the leadership of the Situation Room has prepared you for understanding the electoral process. What do you think we should prioritize before 2027?
So what we should prioritize before 2027 is for us to ensure that any technology we are bringing in should be able to take time to educate all the stakeholders about this technology, namely giving adequate training to election officials, giving adequate explanation to the civil society, the security, and of course the judiciary that will be interpreting whatever comes out of the election on time. So timeliness is very, very important on the part of the legislatures to ensure that they pass the law on that on electoral reform on time. Then secondly, for the INEC to pick up whatever technology they are having and start educating the public about it, and of course training the election officials on it.
So somebody said that you can't be better than your infrastructure. Your election cannot be better than your infrastructure. Do you think we can be a bit more ambitious technologically, especially talking about diaspora voting, internet voting, electronic voting, and all of that? And then you also share your final thoughts, because we're on the home stretch.
Okay, so when it comes to diaspora voting, of course the INEC need to sit up when it comes to that, because we are looking at dealing with people from different countries, and of course Nigeria has spread across the world, so they cannot run on this kind of technology that we have now. Another technology we are talking about in terms of how to reach areas and all that, we have technology that has nothing to do with normal infrastructure that we are using. I don't want to mention a particular technology, but there's one that you can just put the satellite dish like a small pouch like this, and be able to transmit to anywhere. So before we can talk of electronic voting, we need to have all those procurement in place, so that anywhere you are, people can actually use their voting machine and vote. And of course, that technology will pick it up and transmit it to the INEC result portal. But if it's the technology we have now, you all can agree with me that for the past 3 weeks or so, it's difficult for you to even make call to the next person in your street. So you can't ride on that kind of technology to be attempting electronic voting. If INEC should do that, then they should go on their own wireless network that can be procured and of course installed by a cyber expert for them.
This is where we draw the curtain on this episode of Electoral Reform Half Hour, and we wish to especially thank James Ugochukwu, General Secretary, Wax Off, for your time and contributions on the program. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you so very much. Great. And Electoral Reform Half Hour is brought to you by the Peering Advocacy and Advancement Center in Africa, with sponsorship from MacArthur Foundation. We're live every Saturday from 8:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 p.m. on same station. You can contact us on our social media handles showing on your TV screen. Thank you for watching. I am Ezenwawagu.